Thursday, May 22nd, is Jupiter's Day. And I think that this day is going to feel pretty active. We've got a lot going on in the middle of the night. We finally get that Venus and Aries trine Mars and Leo. This is, relationships are flowing. The feminine and masculine principle are now in this like easy breezy trine, right? This is especially there's something here too about Venus and Aries is not necessarily in a sign that she enjoys being in. In fact, she's considered to be in her detriment here, but she's trining Mars and Leo, who, enjoys being in Leo. This is a passionate trine. This is, both signs are kind of all about me, all about I. So let me do what I want to do. Let me get what I want to get. This is kind of two lovers meeting, and they have their own agendas about what they want to get done, but somehow it still works in that moment. Fire trines are passionate, intuitive, spicy. So enjoying that trine, especially as it's going to kind of hold for us over the next couple of days, this fire trine in the sky, passions are flowing and we like it. Let's move on to 5:18 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, moon sextile Uranus and Taurus. Now we're able to kind of change something about our habits, how we're feeling. We can feel a little bit more inspired, a bit intuitive. Anytime we have the moon touching Uranus, there's kind of a spark here, Uranus being almost electrical, rolls on its side, a little special, eccentric, different. So now we may be feeling a little bit different. We're feeling a little bit of a spark somewhere here. We like the sextile. It is a harmonious, it has the nature of Venus. So it's just like, yeah, I really like the moon in contact with Uranus in the soft aspects of sextiles and trines, because it just kind of brings this like innate intuitiveness to the moon. Our big aspect for the day is at 5:39 a.m. We have the Sun in Gemini sextile the Neptune in Aries. And Sun Neptune is like just feeling inspired, right? Creatively inspired to like do one's story, to go off on one's new frontier and to write one's own vision, right? Sun in Gemini, we have the Gemini thing of conversation, information. Neptune in Aries. Aries is very much like number one, the frontiersman, the warrior, right? Sun Neptune contacts are inspiring, certainly. Also an intuitive kind of aspect, dreamy, creative, a little bit like the ego could be a little bit distorted, a little bit fuzzy around the edges. Social as well. I think this is a really pleasant sextile for all that it is, which I like. And it's also in the very first degrees too. And so like we're still learning very much about what Neptune and Aries holds for us. 9:06 a.m. we have the moon conjuncting Saturn. This can be a bit of a wah-wah. This can be finding some sort of emotional limitation, feeling limited, or feeling really quiet, reserved, a little bit more sobering, somber. We are now feeling, serious, a little bit more serious. This could also feel a bit sad as well. We have the intuitive and emotional realization truly of what we're letting go of, with that Saturn being at the very last degrees of Pisces. This is kind of like the most, in some ways, it feels like you're saying goodbye. You're inspired, and then you also know that you have to say goodbye. Again, being on the precipice of letting something go and going off into the future. At 9:26 a.m., we have a vibe shift. We have the moon entering Aries, spicy Aries. This is a fast-paced moon. It reacts quickly. It wants to do things fast, has a need for speed, has a need for new experiences, uh, a need for independence, for, independence, going off and doing its own thing, certainly. And so there's something here about the sobering aspect of moon conjunct Saturn, and then the moon entering a new sign and saying, I'm going to go off in my own way. I'm going to leave that behind and I'm going to go off in my own way. At 12:14 p.m., we are going to get the moon conjunct Neptune in Aries, and this can be, again, dreamy, feeling inspired, feeling extra nostalgic, and like nostalgic for the future, though, if that could be a thing. Nostalgic for a better vision of oneself, of the freedom that it wants, right? Whenever we have the moon touching Neptune, there can be a sense of emotional overwhelm, but because this is in a conjunction and it is the sign of Aries, I don't think it's like sad. I think it's just impassioned. 12:42 p.m., we have the moon sextile sun in Gemini. And this is, again, we are flowing how we feel and like our soul's desires, right? Our creative imperative are in sync. They're working together. They're flowing together. They're able to have a conversation. I'm feeling this and I'm needing this. I want this and I feel this. And it's like, cool, we can do that together. It also feels pretty creative, social, definitely. A fun aspect, especially with the moon in Aries and the sun in Gemini. Like, make those fast connections with people. Have the conversation. Be lively. 3:41 p.m., last aspect of the day, we have the moon sextile Pluto, and this is the ability to go a bit deep, a little bit more psychological, a little bit more intense, definitely more passionate, and also brings in the social thing, right? There's something here about, maybe seeing your need for independence and how it could benefit the group. Certainly, it could add a bit of a investigative flair with Pluto, wanting to get to the bottom of something, or also just being able to like process, feel, and eliminate some old feelings that we don't need to feel anymore. I quite like it, and it's also retrograde Pluto. Sorry, not just Pluto, but retrograde Pluto. So this is, Pluto's going over some old territory, and we're still at the very beginning of Pluto in Aquarius. I keep thinking about that and how, new structures around our society are emerging, but are they the right structures? And Pluto going back is like, we poured this cement, we laid down this track, and like now we can go back and see if like we really want to. It's not completely dry yet. So let's talk